What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Rustbeard, and this is the very first episode of Coffee Chronicles, which is a little series that I'm starting with my little sister, Deanna, who is also a barista. She has been a barista for, go ahead.
3+ years.
Yep.
A little over 3 years now.
Yeah, and obviously we just had to do it right. We had to get a professional on board so we can rate these and give some honest feedback and some cool critiques and all that kind of stuff. We're not food critics, we're not coffee critics, but we are consumers of coffee. We like to drink coffee a lot. It is kind of a pivotal thing in our life, honestly, and it goes back to my childhood for sure, and Deanna, of course, got into coffee in a different way than I did by getting into, being a barista and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a really cool part of our life, and it's just always been one of those things that brings us together and brings our families together and all that kind of stuff. I can't even tell you how many times we've just kind of sat around the table at family gatherings and just drank coffee and
late night coffee and dessert gathering.
Oh, yeah.
That's classic coffee dessert combo.
Cakes and cookies and all kinds of stuff. Good stuff. And fond memories all around. I can't think of a bad time ever in my life that coffee was involved.
No, it usually makes the day a little better.
Yep.
Caffeine aside, the ritual of making yourself a cup of coffee, I'm going to call that self-love, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like, having a little spa day, making yourself a cup of coffee is self-love.
The aroma, the taste of it, like all the different flavors you can put in it, all the different flavors it comes in, all the different ways you can make coffee. I mean, everything about it's just kind of really cool, and I think I can speak for both of us when I say that it's like probably one of my favorite things of every day. Like if I had to pick one thing out of every single day of my life that I don't ever get tired of or would not probably ever get tired of, it's coffee. So that's good stuff. And then, of course, even Deanna working with coffee all the time, still, there's a fondness for it, regardless of the fact that she's around it all day. Before we get started, go ahead and shout out your handles and all that good stuff, and I will have links to those in the description. Of course, check her out on socials. And
Absolutely. I am the Pioneer Witch on Instagram. That's where I post all of my art. I'm an artist, mostly drawings, pencil, pen and ink, occasional acrylic paintings, and an aspiring tattoo artist. So
it's good stuff.
Keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely. We're being greeted by my dog now. Hello, Willow.
Comes jingling in.
I just wanted to tell you I was inside.
Walk of shame.
Anyway, I love that dog. But yeah, go ahead and check her out on socials, and we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to be pretty much doing, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 cafes per episode. Obviously, we cannot drink like 5 to 10 cups of coffee a day, otherwise we'll be visiting the restroom way too often, and
my little heart would explode.
Yeah, and then coffee would become a very negative experience for us.
We'd start to experience paranoia, sweating,
hallucinations,
doubt.
Yeah. Depression, all of it all at once, anxiety.
Just amp up that already crippling anxiety I experience from day to day.
Of course, in each of these, we're going to try to get a little bit of each. We want to get a specialty of some kind, and of course, something more plain, like espresso or Americano, or something that doesn't have like a bunch of stuff in it, of course.
Yep, how you brew the coffee affects how good it's going to taste. So, whether it's cold brew, drip coffee, espresso, all that.
Absolutely.
Your technique matters, so that'll be a good base judgment of what a cafe can do and what they're giving people.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the first cafe that we went to, which is Little City Cafe and Bakery in Providence, which I guess all these are in Providence, so I don't have to say that, but
this one's like in the city though.
Within the actual city itself, not on the outskirts or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this place was super cute. I loved it. The atmosphere was great. It smelled amazing in there when we walked in. Just like was hit with the best aroma ever.
They do it's like a kitchen and a cafe, so you get like breakfast sandwiches and coffee. There was a few pastries you could get as well.
Yeah, good stuff. And the people that were at the counters were really nice. They're really chill. I'll have some B-roll of the actual place inside. I didn't get a whole lot of B-roll of the indoors of these places just because I tried to not get too many faces in there. But overall, I think that it was really good. And the coffee we had was also superb.
First visit, I would definitely agree. I ordered a single shot of espresso, and Jacob got a specialty latte. It was like winter spice syrup, I think, which was like cardamom, anise, something or other. There was like a good mixture of spices in there. Vanilla.
It was a winter spice, vanilla, or something like that. But yeah, it had cardamom and anise in it, and I loved it. I thought it was really good. It wasn't too overbearing sweet. It wasn't like they dumped a shit ton of syrup in there and barely any espresso. It actually did have a pretty good balance, I think. It was pretty creamy, I guess. They might have added a ton of milk, now that I think about it.
I think the texture was good. The milk to espresso ratio, that can be a big difference too. If you ever like taste a latte and it tastes super milky, that's why. The ratio is probably way off. But this one, the flavors with the coffee, with the milk, everything balanced out nicely, so one wasn't overshadowed more than the other.
Right.
Which was good. That's how it should be.
And it was super light. It did taste like winter, like it was called a winter spice something or other, and it did taste like that. It was very good at keeping with the theme of the drink itself, and I liked it. And the espresso by itself was also really good, which is what we got separately. I thought it was really good. At least out of the espresso itself, like the plain drinks, this is probably my favorite place that we had so far, like in these 4 that we'll talk about in this video. The espresso itself, I think, was my favorite.
Yes, the espresso was very... To get a little technical about coffee, there's kind of like 2 kinds of coffee that you can get when it comes to flavor profiles. I think it's how it's roasted. Don't quote me on that. This is just me trying to memorize it. But this one was definitely more on the warmer flavor side. So nutty, warm, like the notes, I would say. It wasn't too acidic. Acidic is the one where it's like very punchy. It just kind of hits you right away. But This one was very enjoyable. I think it would be really good as cortado or a cappuccino or just a plain old latte. So
it was really good, and we'll get to that punchy stuff here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple we tried that were a lot more harsh. I mean, they were good. I think all of these so far, just to clarify, are really good so far. There was one of them in particular I remember that was like, man, that shit hurt.
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't want to say sour because they weren't sour, because if it tastes sour, it's a bad shot of espresso. If you're drinking espresso and it tastes burnt or sour, then it wasn't pulled correctly. So food for thought if you're having coffee. Or if you don't know much about coffee and it tastes like that, they probably didn't brew it right. But.
Yeah. Overall, Little City Cafe and Bakery, or in Kitchen, sorry, what would you give it out of 5?
I think out of 5, I would give it, I think a 3. Yeah. I think a solid 3.
I would probably also give it a 3. I think a 3 is a pretty good spot. Maybe even a 3.5, but I think a 3 is fair. Overall, was really good. Really good, not terrible.
More things to mention. I guess we're kind of rating this on the atmosphere of the cafe, the aesthetic, again, like the menu. What does their menu showcase? I think a good cafe, it's going to showcase those traditional cafe drinks like a cappuccino, a latte, cortado, cold brew, drip coffee. It's going to showcase those things, but then they're also going to bring forward their creativity on their specialty menu. And I think that this place felt like more modern traditional, but it did have that specialty menu. And I think it seemed, since like the winter spice, they might change it seasonally. They don't have any like staple specialty items.
Right.
But I think their selection was really nice, especially because if you're not a coffee nerd and you don't know any of those traditional cafe drinks, it's really helpful to have a specialty menu where you can see flavors that you recognize or you enjoy, and you can experiment and see what you like and what you don't like.
And just in general, there's a lot of people, even myself, like I don't know the ins and outs of coffee like some people would, and most of the time if I'm going to a cafe, I just want to grab a specialty or some kind of latte that's different than what I always get, If I'm going to get some plain coffee, or if I just want to get something like my usual, I'll go to Dunkin', you know what I mean? If I'm going to a cafe, I want to have something that like fits the theme of that cafe or fits the personality of that cafe. Yeah, this place I think did it very well. I think this place did it really well. And we are rating these out of 5, by the way, so don't think a 3 is bad. It's just there's a lot of cafes in Providence, and I know for a fact, in my mind anyway, out of the ones that I have had, this one is really good. But I know I've had some that I would probably like more, if that makes sense, you know. Let's go ahead and talk about number 2, which was Ellie's. It's just Ellie's or Ellie's Cafe or something?
I think it's just Ellie's, but this one feels a little bit more like a brunch spot. Like it's a cafe, but it's a little bit bigger. So there's a lot of the dining room is huge.
Right.
There's a lot of seating, lots of brunch and lunch items on the menu. It's also a bar, so it's like a cafe and spirits, so it stays open later.
We got a cherry
cordial latte.
Yeah. And it was very interesting. Like it was very sweet. Oh my gosh, if you like sweet stuff, you would love this thing.
Very much like a dessert drink for sure.
Oh yeah, not a daily for sure. I would not get this every single day, no. But I would try it at least once if you haven't gotten a chance to try it. Also, cherry's just not, in my opinion or in my experience, something that you see a lot in coffee. I always try to look for a blueberry something or other in coffee just because I love blueberry coffee in general. But I personally have not seen too many cherry ones, so that was kind of cool to see, and it was really good. Speaking of the punchiness, though, that's where this one comes in.
So we also ordered a single shot or a double shot. So another thing you should be aware of if you're visiting cafes and you're not an avid cafe goer, some cafes are going to give you more than one shot. So I would say 1 shot of espresso is about 2 ounces. This shop, I think they served us a shot of espresso as a double shot. So that's about 4 ounces of coffee if you're trying to be aware of your caffeine intake. But this was definitely more of an acidic tasting shot of espresso. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't sour or burnt or anything, but it was very much acidic, very punchy. Again, we were just talking about this. I'm bad with adjectives. I need to learn more adjectives on how to describe how things taste, because it's tough.
Go read a dictionary, you buffoon. No, I'm just kidding.
Comment down below adjectives to describe coffee, please.
I think it was still very good. The espresso was really good, but I would definitely prefer it in a latte or something, you know what I mean? This is not something that I would drink the espresso by itself. And I know a lot of other people prefer the more punchy, acidic flavors and stuff. I personally would much rather have it in a drink, just to kind of break up the acidity of it a little bit.
I think that's why it went so well with a cherry flavor, because the sweet fruitiness came in together. It was also, I'm pretty sure it was like cherry and mocha, like a milk or a dark chocolate that they added to it, so that when you pair those things together, it complements, balances out.
What would you give it out of 5?
Out of 5, I think probably I'm gonna give it like a 2.5.
Okay.
I think, because the specialty menu, I think here, like, if we were going to compare as a whole, like, food and coffee, it could have been higher, because this place looks like more of a food place. It looks like people come here for the food mostly, and that's what's kind of showcased the most. The atmosphere of this place was awesome. It was like a little country kitchen with, like, the blue and white tiles, the wooden tables, chicken art everywhere, which was adorable. There was a little squirrel drawn on the chalkboard. Like, I don't know. It was adorable.
We love a good squirrel drawing.
Yeah, I think, though, personally, I would give it a 2.5, because that type of espresso I'm not a fan of, and I wouldn't drink regularly. But it is something definitely to just try and go out and give it a visit and see what you like.
Absolutely. I would give the overall of it, I would probably also give a 2.5. The cherry cordial latte, I think, would get a 3 for me by itself, because it was very good. But again, it's not something that I would go out of my way to get all the time. It's something that once in a blue moon, I would grab it just because it's different. It's not something I have all the time, and I like to change it up. I like to try a bunch of new stuff, so I would give the individual latte for sure, the specialty, 3. But Other than that, I would definitely give the whole place 2.5. At least on my end, I don't think any of these are going to be bad.
When I say the worst, it's not like it's not like it's a bad spot. It's not bad. It's definitely worth a visit, but
one way or another, any of the ones that we talk about throughout this whole series, you should try at least once, because everybody's different. Everybody's taste is different. This is just our opinion, of course. And trust me, if there is a bad one for any reason, I will let you know. Like, I will tell you it's a bad one. But, just on a scale of like how good they are, that's the only reason we're rating them at all. Otherwise, try all these yourself for sure. Give us your ratings as we talk about them in the comments, because that'd be great.
And give a Google review, because reviews help small businesses.
Yes,
they help so much more than you possibly think, because I don't know about you. If I'm looking up a place to eat or drink, Google whatever cafes near me. And if there's a bad rating, or there's no ratings, or there's good ratings, that's a game changer for businesses. So
and also be aware of ratings as well.
Yeah.
If there's only one rating and it's a shit rating, it's probably just because that one person had a bad experience. There's more than likely not that bad, you know. But that one bad rating is still going to bring their rating down, which sucks. You know what I mean? Moving on, let's go to number 3. What do we got for number 3?
Number 3, we have New Harvest Coffee and Spirits. This is also another coffee and spirits and coffee roasters, because they roast all their beans here in the building, which is cool, because you have like a little glass window, you can see everything. I think they have different hours of operation when they're doing that and whatnot. I think they do classes as well. They have classes that you can go and attend, which is awesome. This is also another, New Harvest is a few coffee shops that we've been to. We've noticed they have New Harvest coffee beans, so they're using that coffee for their brewing and their product and everything, which is cool.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That means people like it, you know what I mean? And we didn't even need to know that, because when we got here, dude, it was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed to the brim, dude. And we had to wait in line, yes, but I will say, regardless of the wait, it was very good.
Worth it.
Very, very good. The toasted marshmallow latte that I got was phenomenal. And I know that may sound pretty basic, and I've definitely seen other marshmallow lattes before, but I'm pretty sure I heard him call out like 3 different toasted marshmallow lattes for people just while we were inside.
Yeah, that was definitely a fan favorite. Most of the drinks he was calling out was toasted marshmallow.
Yeah, and it was good. It was really good. Probably in my top for sure, out of the cafes we've had so far. At least close to it, because I would definitely get that again. Because again, it wasn't super sweet. It wasn't like horribly sweet to where you're like, all right, I've got 3 cavities now just from drinking this. But it was sweet enough to where you could taste the marshmallow, and it was also a really good coffee flavor as well. And then you got a nitro. Right?
A nitro cold brew, which nitro cold brew is going to be the flavor. It's getting into the nitty-gritty details. It all depends on how you like to drink your coffee. I'm a big cold brew fan and a nitro cold brew fan, but this was interesting because nitro cold brew is known to be very smooth, almost sweet tasting, but I made sure to ask the barista if they were, this might have been a dumb question, but some places have cold brew, but it's not their coffee. It's not their coffee beans. Right. They're using it from a different place, but this is New Harvest Coffee Roasters. So yes, they were using their own roasted beans for this nitro cold brew. It was so interesting though, because this one was very nutty, very warm tasting. It was delicious just on its own.
Oh yeah.
I like it with a little bit of simple syrup, some cream, just to make it really nice and creamy, which again, just the flavor of the coffee alone just amped it up even more once you add the cream, whatever fixins you need, but yeah, super smooth, very delicious.
Agreed. It was very good. By itself or in the latte, I think it was really good. I think my out of 5 on this one is probably a 4.
Yeah, I would give it a 4. I would give it a 4 because the vibes, the atmosphere is super nice. In this place, it could be a spot where you're just hanging out for a minute or grabbing and going or sitting and studying. They have outdoor seating when it's warmer out. They have a bunch of merch, which is awesome because when people are creative enough to make their own merch, and they have their brand, and they have it, their like their personality is conceptualized into merchandise. That's also a big like green flag for me, because then you just know they're passionate about it. They put thought into it. It's not just, we want to sell coffee. No, they have the whole concept is there, and they're selling it to you, and I'm here for it. They also have a very big flavor selection, which is, I love when they have a big flavor selection, not just your basic vanilla, caramel, hazelnut, because that gets old really quick. They have caramel, pecan, peppermint, all sorts of flavors. But then on top of that, they had a specialty menu. So they had a few, I think 4 or 5 different coffees and teas that you could try.
Matcha, they had a couple different teas. And this is another one also that was a bar as well. They had alcoholic beverages as well. Good stuff for sure. I would definitely go back here. Mm-hmm. Maybe at a different hour.
Yeah, it was a Saturday. It was a farmer's market day, so
Saturday morning on a farmer's market day.
I mean, if that's that would be a great way to spend your day, though, is grab a coffee and peruse the farmer's market. That's worth it.
Good stuff for sure. We will go ahead and talk about our last one, number 4 for the day, which was
7 Stars Bakery.
7 Stars.
We visited the Broadway location, which is, sneak peek, the location of one of my regular spots that I frequent.
We'll definitely be talking about them.
That later. 7 Stars. Off the top of my head, I know they have 2 locations in Providence. They might have more. They have another one in Greenwich. I'm not sure. They have a few locations that you can visit, but the one we visited, I think I enjoyed. Yeah,
the staff was super nice. Everybody was really chill. There was 2 really cool dogs just chilling outside.
Well-behaved dogs.
Very well-behaved. Not a part of the cafe itself, but they were just chilling. The owner was sitting inside. He was doing some work, it looked like, on his computer, and his dogs were just chilling there outside, minding their own business, being very nice, well-behaved.
10 out of 10 good dogs.
Good stuff. And this one, on the other hand, one critique I did have was the specialty menu itself. It looked like was all it was all tea.
It was all tea, and it was almost non-existent. There was there wasn't really a specialty menu. It seemed more of just your traditional cafe drink items. And this one was also like cafe and bakery, so this one's also more, there was a bunch of bakery items to choose from.
All of the baked goods looked delicious.
Fresh.
I've definitely got some B-roll of that on here.
Lots and lots of bread, lots of pastries, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But from a coffee standpoint, I think they were lacking a little bit in that specialty
Right.
area.
It was a situation where I ended up just getting a regular caramel latte. However, I will say the taste of the caramel latte was probably one of the better ones I've had. Mm-hmm. I've had obviously a lot of plain lattes before, and caramel lattes, vanilla lattes, the usual picks that people get, and most of the time it's hit or miss. If I'm being honest with you, either A, they add way too much flavoring and syrup in it, and it's just too overpowering, and it's hard to finish because it's too sweet. And that's coming from a sweet tooth. I love sweet stuff, but holy shit, if they've got so much syrup or whatever, cream or whatever in there, it's hard to finish some of those sometimes. And this one was a perfect balance of flavoring to milk to espresso, whatever. All of it is really perfect. It tasted really good. You can still taste the caramel really well.
Yeah, the flavor of caramel itself. So the buttery, brown, sugary flavor that caramel is there. It's not just sweet sugar syrup added to the coffee. Yeah. Which some brands of syrup, and one thing we forgot to catch is we didn't notice some places they're not afraid. It's not a secret or anything. What kind of they got Torani, Monin. Monin is a big one I've noticed in Providence alone. A lot of cafes use that brand of syrup. But this, whatever brand or whether they made it homemade, was good. Very good.
It was really good. Really good. The latte itself was really good. And you ended up getting
a cortado, which is it's one of those small drinks, if you're gonna show up and just get some espresso, but you want a little bit more texture and flavor, creaminess of the milk. That's a good option for you. It's got equal parts milk and espresso. Don't quote me on this again. I'm still an average barista, I would say.
What is that, novice?
Yeah, novice,
would
apprentice.
novice be?
I don't even know. Novice, but
semi-professional.
yes, but it was delicious. This cortado was delicious. The espresso was really good. This is something I would definitely do, like get yourself a sweet pastry and a cortado. It's like your classic dipping a donut in coffee or something. That's what I would do with it. And I think those are two, like, they go together like peas and carrots, as Forrest Gump would say.
Always balance out your more bitter coffees, more plain coffees with something sweet, and you'll be good to go, no matter where you go. Even at Dunkin'.
Yeah.
People in New England love their Dunkin', man, and I'm right at home because I also love Dunkin'. I'm not gonna lie. I promise we will not be doing any Dunkin' reviews in this series.
No,
this is all cafes.
That would take us 5 years because there's a Dunkin' on every corner. So
yeah, I've had a lot of Dunkin' since I've been here because if I just want something quick, something plain, something easy, that's my go-to. I'm not gonna lie. However, in this particular series, we will only be doing local cafes, not chains, not big like Starbucks and all that kind of stuff. I think overall today, or this specific episode, we got several good ones. None of them were bad by any stretch.
I'm gonna give this one a 2.5 because again, the specialty menu was lacking. There's really, like, if you're a regular and you like coffee, then you're good to go. Nothing to worry about. But if you are looking for something like unique and creative, and maybe it's just this time of season they don't have that, maybe it's more of a spring, summer thing that they do, but I just didn't notice a lot of unique, special menu items, so.
Probably also give it a 2.5. Mainly because I think the other ones I would probably go to first.
Yeah,
on this list. Yeah.
Definitely revisit it, because they just stand out. They have a lot more, I would definitely say they have a lot more personality than 7 Stars. But 7 Stars is a good staple for just like your everyday grab-and-go coffee or study spot.
That'll wrap up episode 1. We will do episode 2, Coffee Chronicles. We're going to be releasing these on Fridays, so be sure to hit the like button if you liked this video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. It helps out the channel. It's completely free for you guys, but it means the world to me, means the world to the channel. So please do that. Let us know in the comments down below if you've ever had any of these, if you've ever been to Providence, or if you are coming to Providence and you want to know about any specific cafes. Let us know in the comments. We'll definitely put them in an episode because we will be trying all of them. So
yeah, or if you can think of something that we're just not seeing or finding, definitely recommend it in the comments.
Especially like newer cafes that have just opened or will be opening or whatever, and they're just not on our radar yet. Absolutely, let us know, and I would love to check them out. But that'll be all from me. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
See ya. There's only like a little left. I'm trying to finish it off.
It tastes good. She's drinking it quick.
This is meant to be sipped, not chugged. When you chug it, it's a lot.